All right, Blake, I've known you for,
Since I was 14, 15.
since the beginning.
Yeah, 22
I wasn't
years.
there when you were born,
No.
but you were in high school, I think, maybe, or junior
Yeah,
high when we met.
I think I was like 15.
Something
Yeah.
like that. That's kind of cool. So you come from a long line of contractors in construction.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, my great-grandfather, they moved here from Nebraska, and they built their own house from the ground up. My grandfather and my great-grandfather, my uncle, my great-uncle, they all built their house in Rosemead back in the early 1900s from the ground up.
Wow. Go Big Red.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, go Huskers. And then from there, I mean, my grandfather, even though he wasn't an electrician, he played with electrical. I still to this day, I don't think he felt anything in his hands.
Well, your dad, I mean, I'm real close friends with the Sturkle family,
Yeah.
and Gary Sturkle is your dad, and I've known him for many years, and he spent his whole life doing construction.
Yeah,
so.
he tried to give me his GC license when I was like 19, and I saw him standing in the doorway, hunched over, not being able to feel his fingers. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go a different direction here. I'll inspect what you do, but I'm not going to do what you do.
It's interesting because our industry is fairly new, considering it really got legs in the 70s, right? You know, so you know, you kind of transitioning into your family's background in construction into property inspections
And real estate. My mom was a real estate agent, interior designer.
That's right. Oh, that's right. That's right.
So, I mean, as I always say, I grew up in everybody else's house.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're just wired for this industry, which is great. So,
Sure.
well, glad to have you on. You're looking good. I like the beard.
Yeah, you know, it's a little patchy, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Beard's looking good.
I'll get the comb over here soon.
All right. So Blake's got some water damage and mold that he's going to share with us today. So please make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notifications button. We'd love to have you watching all our episodes and staying up with what we're doing. So, all right, let's just go ahead and jump on in. So you've got some stuff for us today. Talk to us about this first photo, Blake.
Oh man. Okay, so this was actually last night, which is perfect timing. Went into this house.
Oh, so this was an inspection yesterday.
This was last night. I mean, I did the job at 4:00. It was dark by the time I walked out of there, but we had enough light to see this stuff. There was a prior water heater installed on this water heater platform.
Yeah.
This is a newer 2022 water heater, so it could have been. It was installed pretty recently.
Pretty shyster to just slap that new one in there right on the water damage to old platform like that.
Absolutely. And not only that, I mean, yeah, the water damage, let's talk about water damage. Yeah, we see the black staining. We can all, you know, assume what that is there, but more than anything now, not only that, they had to cut out that entire platform. And this must have been Uncle Joe down the road who did the work, because I mean, now they're violating all the fire codes of the firewalls, all compromised wall on the opposite side.
Oh, that's right. That's part of the fire resistant rated wall between the garage and the habitable space, which would be maybe a bedroom or a living room on the other side.
Yep.
You know, one of these days, you know, the code council that writes gets together and writes the International Residential Code, which I think 48 states in the U.S. Follow, are going to start saying gypsum board, sheetrock platforms for water heaters are not allowed.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I mean, why are they doing that? I mean, all they say is you have to have a pan, but they should know nobody puts a pan.
yeah, the last one leaked to cause tons of water damage. Do you see a pan under there?
No pan. And it's a brand new water
Like,
heater.
come on, man. Like, what do you think caused the problem in the first place?
Yeah,
If we're diverting
exactly.
the water to the correct direction,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be having this issue.
Yeah. So are we good? You got anything else to say about this one? Or?
I don't know. I didn't get the other shot of it, but besides the water heater leaking as well, they actually had to trench out this entire, which they didn't have to, but they chose to trench out the entire garage up to the main connection. I know I see your face.
Wow.
Like, why did they do that? They must have had like a cold water slab leak in there as well.
I see.
And that was running up behind that platform to the cold water connection. Running
I
up
see
that side
I
of
see the
wall.
staining on the slab right next to those brick tiles. You can see kind of I saw that unusual, like, why is that stain there?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So someone got them good. Said, hey, let's trench out your entire garage to repipe. It was like, man, you could have bypassed all that. You could have just nipped it off and just ran packs.
Yeah, just basically terminated that line and put some PEX up through the wall in the attic.
Instead, they just jacked up the entire garage.
Wow.
So that's what water damage will do for you, man. It'll cost you a lot of money. So that's the adjacent wall to that water heater.
So that's the other side of the wall.
Correct.
Okay. Wow. Yep, it goes right on through. There was probably water sitting in that wall.
And you see unfinished flooring there. I'm assuming that floor all got water damage as well.
Yep, flooded out. They pulled out the carpet and dried it out, and then just never fixed it.
Yeah, and then on the other side, I didn't provide the photo, but I mean, baseboards were all repainted. You could see that there was a little bit of bubbling on the paint right above the baseboards running in the hallway, which is adjacent there. So I mean, it did a number there.
Well, and that's mold. That's mold on the wall there now. So,
yeah.
I mean, that could be, a it's a health concern.
I mean, are you what do you think? Should they just be cutting that out and replacing all that drywall at that point?
I mean, I'd recommend it.
Right? That's what I kind of said too. I said, yeah. They're like, oh, can we just like put some bleach on that? And I'm like,
no, you don't. You should never just bleach. I don't know why people think bleach just sterilizes everything. I mean,
yeah.
The
listing agent was there, and he's like, well, we could just like clean that up. And I'm like,
don't ever just bleach something. I mean, you need to so I've got a pamphlet here from the CDC.
Sure.
And there's different kinds of molds, but even in the basic facts about mold and damp.
Does the CDC say just bleach it?
No, CDC says no matter what you have, no matter what kind of mold it is, you should cut it out and replace.
Of course.
Their policy is cut out and replace.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, anybody that tells you bleach and it's fine, I mean, maybe you can, but I mean, that doesn't need to be a realtor telling you that.
No, I mean, this gets kicked over to like a restoration company. This needs to be remediated.
I mean, there are opportunities where, you can clean stuff up with some kind of disinfectant, sure. Right? I mean, in Home Depot, they sell this paint called Kills. So there are things that you can do. Rosina has made some recommendations where you can just clean stuff up, disinfect it, and it'll be fine. But somebody she has a master's in molecular biology.
Yeah.
So she knows what she's talking about after reading lab results and interpreting those results.
Yep.
But somebody just shooting from the hip, just bleach, that's irresponsible. It's unprofessional. It's irresponsible.
Sure. Yeah. So I was living in a condo years ago, and I had a fish tank, and I cleaned my fish tank, and I took the pump that I was cleaning, I put it underneath my counter. Didn't think much of it. Next thing you know, a few days later, I opened that cabinet up, and there's all this black sporing all over the wall. And I'm like, I got a plumbing leak. It's my sink.
Right.
Cutting the drywall open. Sure enough, I went and got my drywall saw. I cut that sucker open.
Wow.
No water. It was the fish pump. I'm like, my goodness.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, just knucklehead move on my end. But sure, and being in this industry and understanding what water damage does to a house, I jumped all over it.
Yeah, moisture moves through the air.
Sure, absolutely.
And we breathe it. And so what are we looking at here, Blake?
Oh, you know about Gafter-Sattler furnaces?
I do.
From the 1970s?
I do.
Yeah, that's still installed in this property.
Okay, so we have a very old heating unit.
Yeah.
It looks like it's in a closet alcove.
Yeah,
kind of a deal.
Correct, out in the garage.
Okay.
I specifically, and this one was just done. This inspection was done a week ago, out in Riverside, and
Sean took the flashlight, put it around the side, and looked back there behind there.
Got to. So I chose these photos specifically because I think it's really important to understand that water damage doesn't just come from plumbing sources.
Right.
It comes from poor structural composition.
Okay.
Poor flashing, roofing, furnaces, condensation drain lines, water heaters. That can cause water damage other than just, my plumbing's leaking. I have a slab leak. That's what people kind of go to immediately.
Well, and it can even just come from putting your mop against the wall when it's wet.
Just leaving it.
Or your pump from your fish tank.
Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. Yeah, so this was an old Gafter-Sattler, and you see the staining going all the way up the wall. The condensation drain line, I actually made point of it in my inspection that I was unable to locate the termination point of this condensation drain line.
So
old 1977 condo.
I have an old associate of mine. His name's Larry Habin. He's passed away. God rest his soul. He got a claim in a lawsuit once early on in my career for an alternate condensate drain line that went terminating right into the wall.
That would do it.
And what they did was they just essentially did a repair, and they sealed it into the wall, not knowing what it was. And so somebody bought the house.
Primary got backed up.
primary got backed up, and like 10 months after they bought the house, all of a sudden there's water in the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like, and so that's one of the biggest reasons why we put in our styles and materials for the inspector to find the termination point.
Yeah. I didn't know where that sucker went.
Because you would never, it's like, how do you inspect something that you don't see?
Yeah. Condensation drain line, can't find the termination point, and I got this going on in there. If you go to the next photo, I believe we even have more water damage. You see that old dark green Gafter Sattler, baby. You know, when you see it.
Yep.
That's right at the furnace platform. So something's backed up on that condensation drain line.
Yeah,
it's staying wet.
It's definitely There's a bigger problem here.
Yeah.
So.
And the listing agent, real nice gal. She's like, "Oh, we'll get that lit and we'll get it fired right up." And it's like, you need to replace this. Like, this is not doing its job anymore, and it's causing water damage.
Yeah, it's time to do a little upgrade.
Absolutely.
So very cool. Okay, whoa, was this the other side of the wall?
No. So this is a totally different property. This was actually best way I want to put this one. This was a grow house up in our prior grow house, marijuana, if you're not catching what I'm saying here. Up in this was Phelan.
Okay, so you're up in the high desert,
out in the boonies, man. Nothing but dirt roads.
So they bought a grow house, they flipped it.
Yep.
I can tell by the new carpet there. Some investors flipped it.
Got nice carpet though.
and you can see where all the moisture kind of collected up there against the wall, right?
Absolutely. So they were using this room for other purposes prior, all throughout the property. We're talking about water damage, but ventilation problems as well. Again, we're talking about water damage. Like, ventilation creates condensation. If they're not ventilating things correctly, it causes problems as well.
Right.
Poor
ventilation.
Right. Yeah, poor ventilation. So there was another property up Oak Hills I did as well. I don't have the photos on this one, but sure enough, another grow house, a bunch of vents, patched up drywall all throughout the property. I go up in the attic and I literally gagged, like how much water damage and black staining and just fungus just growing all in the attic. Yeah. Because they were just dumping all their ventilation up in the attic.
Yeah, like moisture causes things to grow, and that's it. You want things to be dry. I lived in the South Carolina and in Georgia, and there's a lot of humidity there. It was very important to make sure that you had good ventilation and that you kept your stuff dry and clean. Oh
goodness.
Yeah,
just trapping moisture. So it's like, again, we're talking about where's water damage come from. We're not just talking about plumbing. Right. So, we go up in the attics and we look at different termination points and make sure that bathroom exhaust vents are getting to the outside, and we call it out. People, it's not a big deal. Well, no, could be a fairly easy fix. Sure. But the problems that it could cause.
Yeah. And that's kind of goes back to the point about do not just clean it up and walk away from it. You got to find out what the cause is and fix the cause of the moisture problem.
Exactly.
And so it's like, I bet you removed that pump from the fish tank and it wasn't under there anymore.
Oh yeah, it went in the garage.
It went into the where the garage is ventilated, right? With vents and things like that, which is good. All right. So what? Oh, okay. So now we're on the roof.
Where does water come from? I mean, that's why I real specific on what we're talking about here. I thought this was a good. Am I right to say, Dwayne, that water will kill a house? That's a killer, baby.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like to put it like this: why do we live in houses?
So we don't get wet.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So we don't get wet. We can stay warm. Right. And so the roof's very important, and the membrane to the roof, and keeping it clear. And it looks like, I mean, I know that people have watched The Hobbit, and you can see these grass covered houses, and that's actually a trend, a popular thing, right? People want to have these lawns on their houses. It's not the best way to do that. I mean, even if you look at like older, like tribals, huts and stuff like that, those thatches that are on top are all dried out.
Yeah.
And so, you want to keep the leaves off the top of your house. So I'm suspecting you got on the roof first, you saw this, and you put your spider senses up. And so when you went to the interiors, you were looking for things, right?
Sure. So, I mean, there's kind of a process to inspectors. And as an inspector, you kind of evolve as, you start doing thousands of inspections, you start catching things in certain places, common areas. And right when I got to the house, a big old tree out front. This is out in Ukaipa, up in the hills in Ukaipa. Beautiful, beautiful property, acre. And I see this tree and I'm like, well, okay, what's this doing to the house? So immediately, you said the spidey senses. I'm looking right away. Where's termite damage?
Right.
Where's moisture damage? Where's rodent activity? Like, this is a rat ladder, giant rat ladder sitting over the roof.
We're already, I'm not even inside the house yet, but I can tell these people are not maintaining their home.
Correct. And so I already know I'm looking for certain things. And one of those was going to be, excuse me. One of those things is, how much moisture is that, all that debris catching?
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah. A lot. And I was right. There it is.
Boom. All right. There we go.
All around that flat roof that was wrapping around that whole corner right there, right below. That's that garage.
Yep.
And sure enough.
Well, and you can tell that's an addition too, right? That's not the original architecture. They've added on, and I can see there's no flashing there, no visible. You're supposed to be able to see the flashing. It's not supposed to be buried. So that just tells you that, water is not shedding off this roof the way it's supposed to. Yeah. And bam,
there we go.
Right underneath there, it's blistering. You can see some discoloration. It looks like a brownish color. Yeah. That's mold.
And not only that, they drywalled over the chimney. That's the backside of the chimney right there.
Oh, wow.
So
chimneys are notorious for incorrect flashing and leaking.
There you go. And what do you think the inside of that firebox looked like?
It's all efflorescence, moisture.
Mortar gone, deteriorated brick.
Okay.
Just totally gone. Yeah. And so it was like, this is all causing a problem. It's like whoever added this on and not maintaining it, we're getting moisture from there. Again, this isn't a plumbing problem. This is a structural issue that the infrastructure wasn't properly installed.
Right. That roof needs to be cleared off and re-roofed.
Absolutely.
That whole roof looks like it needs to be re-roofed.
Yep. I called out a roofer and they're like, well, is there anything wrong with the roof? And I'm like, well, you see the water damage? Like, where do you think that's coming from? Do you think that's been fixed? I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So now we're inside and we're looking underneath a sink. That is a tailpipe under a sink.
We're back to that grow house.
Okay, we're back in the grow house now. What we got? Oh, now that's a telltale. There's a big bag of salt there.
Yeah, what do you think's going on there, Dwayne? You didn't inspect this house, but tell me what you think on this one.
Oh, we making methamphetamines? I mean, what the heck? I mean, that doesn't look like cat litter to clean up moisture. They're making, that looks like, I don't know.
Yeah. This is a wild one, man.
That's probably not salt for the bathtub.
Yeah, welcome to Oak Hills. Welcome to Phelan. These beautiful homes, and God, they just kill them sometimes. It hurts my heart to see the people do this stuff to these properties.
Yeah, you can tell that water was getting in the wall there. Those are old angle stop valves. It looks like maybe they put a new sink on, maybe even a new tailpipe, but I'm suspecting
all that countertop, everything was replaced.
Oh, was it? So there was a leak and water damage they didn't fix. I don't know, why didn't they just cut the wall out there and replace it? I mean, it makes no sense.
You use the one word I don't use is why.
Yeah.
Why do people do things, or why don't people do things? I can't understand. I don't know. I don't have an answer why people do this stuff. But
I mean, it's money, right? Because it costs more money to do it.
Goodness gracious, yeah. But I mean, again, and so after like really reviewing it, and I turned those angle stops because they're older angle stops. I want to see, are they dripping? Do we have corrosion on them? Things like that. Everything actually kind of showed out pretty good there. But with the countertop and everything being replaced, I'm kind of was more suspecting that was water that was all just trapped back there and running down the backside of that wall from the prior countertop, just not caulked, not sealed.
Right.
Maybe a sink was busted, something going like that. I mean, the place was kind of beat up. So not too uncommon to see something like that. Because the drywall didn't appear to be like soft or compromised, and there was nothing wet at the time. So I mean, personally, me as an inspector, I use this little handy dandy gadget right here to do thermal imaging and check stuff like this.
Right.
To see, hey, is this actively wet? Am I getting temperature differentials? Am I following up with moisture tests? What's going on here?
Well, these areas underneath sinks, they're not ventilated at all. And so any moisture in there stays in there.
Just traps it in.
Right.
And there you go.
All right. Well, there we go. That roof. That's got to be that roof again.
That is that exact same roof out in Ukaipa. Yeah.
And this roof now has or not black, but brown stains on the wall. So,
Oh, excuse me. This one it wasn't Ukaipa. This was out in East LA.
East LA. All right.
LA, man. Yeah, on Cesar Chavez Boulevard. And they said the roof was fixed, and the tenant said, "Okay, thanks." And then it rained a few weeks ago, and
it wasn't fixed.
And this is what we got because of it.
So the repair wasn't done properly.
Well, you know what? Up on the roof, I was able to kind of identify, you have cut out parapet walls, especially on those older buildings, running to like one big giant drain right there. And I just saw a big puddle of water at all the parapet walls.
Okay.
So it's like, that's not getting through the wall into that gutter.
Right.
Well, sure enough, that's right there.
Just coming through.
And it's coming through again, roofing leaks. So it's like, where's water damage being caused from? Stuff like that. You already flashed to the next photo, man.
That's scary looking right there. Look how black that mold is.
This is out in Corona last night.
Yeah. So
this is that same where that first photo we went to, we saw that water heater busted. Same property.
So when you start seeing black mold like this,
that's dark.
Stachybotrys is also known as the black mold. On the CDC's website, Stachybotrys is basically likes to grow on gypsum board, other types of material such as fiberboard, paper, stuff that has a high cellulose content or a cellulose content. If you want to go on the CDC's website and learn more about Stachybotrys, we actually tested this and it came back as Stachybotrys. And so, we did some lab results and Roseanne did some analysis on it. We're going to go ahead and throw up a QR code if you want to learn more about hazardous mold and what the CDC has to say. Mackenzie, go ahead and put that on up. Feel free, but go ahead and talk more about this condition. What did you see there, Blake?
So the first question is, where's it coming from? Right. We see the problem. We see what the problem that was caused.
Right.
But the question is, what was causing the problem?
Right.
So, I actually did thermal imaging moisture testing here. Blew you away, Dwayne? Was not showing up wet.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's just dry. So it's no longer growing.
Correct. So I had like 18% moisture on there, which it's still a little bit, but as
that's high.
It's higher than what I want to see, but it's telling me that it's not actively leaking. It's not right. It's not. My camera wasn't lighting up.
It's just
my moisture
a little moist.
It's a little moist. Something's been there in recent history. In the last few weeks, something got there, and they've kind of fixed it. Well, I go upstairs. Oh, before I even went inside, on the side of the house, what did I see? A busted up washing machine drip pan.
Really? Okay.
So already I was like, who's replacing their drip pan for their washing machine? Tenant occupied.
Yep.
So I'm already like kind of, okay, I better go check out the laundry room.
Right.
So it's like when we're inspecting, it's like you kind of start picking up on things.
Yep. Putting the puzzle together.
Yeah, like why is the drip pan outside and it's damaged? What's going on?
Yep.
Sure enough, go in the laundry room, new drip pan underneath the washing machine.
So what are we looking at here? Is this a ceiling?
This is the ceiling in a closet.
Okay.
Right below the laundry room on the second level.
There it is. So not that complicated, is it?
Figured it out.
That's good. That's good.
So there you go. Oh goodness. This was a knockdown house. This was like
man. Did you peel that wallpaper back? That's wallpaper. That's black mold. Black. It looks like paint. Dude, almost.
It opened up like a door.
Really?
That was that.
So it was stiff.
It was so stiff. It opened like.
And you were probably like, let's just put that back. And I'm not going to. Let's go get a respirator.
I walked right back outside and got my respirator. You better believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was, what do you think that was caused from? This was all throughout the house.
I mean, it had to be the roof.
And a lady was living there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Not a tenant. She was an owner. And she was like, I know my property has problems.
Oh, yeah, it does.
I know we got some work to do here.
Yeah. So where you typically see conditions like this are going to be in like hurricane areas.
Fontana, Dwayne.
Okay. So That's pretty wild. That's California desert if you don't know.
Yeah, it should not be that wet there.
Yeah, this isn't Florida. This isn't Texas. This isn't Louisiana.
No.
Alabama, South Carolina, none of that. Where you can get a flood or water damage and mold will grow, and you got to actually move out of the house.
Yeah.
And the CDC actually recommends that if you have this kind of condition, you should try to limit your exposure to the home, move out, stay with relatives. CDC recommends to do that, or get a hotel.
So her and her 7 cats and 3 dogs shouldn't be living
They're
there.
not. Then they're not moving, are they?
No. This house was a.
But she's selling, right? So she is going to be moving eventually. So somebody's going to have to tear out all the sheetrock, all the gypsum board, drywall, and remodel.
Electrical, everything. This place is going to get ripped apart.
Yeah. Wow. Where is that? Is that her bedroom?
This was in one of the bedrooms. This was a vacant bedroom.
So somebody's sleeping in there. Oh, it was vacant. Thank God.
This one was happened to be vacant.
Okay.
But she kind of moved herself just for mobility wise. She kind of moved all of her stuff into like the living room area. Like she just had like one giant kind of room that she lived in because she didn't have any leaks in that room, and it had a fireplace because there was no heat source in the house.
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to have inspected this house, man. I mean, geez.
So I mean, this I just kind of gave a glimpse. I shared this one. So I mean, you start seeing like little water stains here and there. This is all throughout the house. Water stains just everywhere throughout the house.
Wow. I mean, it's rare to see it that
So
bad.
see that photo right there, the second one down.
Yeah.
That's wallpaper opened up.
Yeah.
It's open. That's not another wall.
Wow. I'm suspecting that maybe the paper on the outside layer of paper on the gypsum board maybe melded to the wallpaper.
Yeah,
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That was one of the worst ones I've seen. And that's the roof.
That's the roof to the house.
That's the roof to the house. Has there been any repairs? Yeah, kind of.
Water's just going right through the seam there. Look at that.
Not even close. Not even close. And so right here, I thought this was kind of a cool shot here. This is like 2 roofs seamed together, and they kind of created this valley for the water to run. It's running the wrong direction. It's not going off the roof at all.
So it's just sitting up there, getting into the ceiling, getting into the walls. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so I took that photo specifically because that was right above that wall that we saw below.
Okay.
And it's like, where's that wall? What is exactly above that area?
And it looks like somebody's recently replaced or put new rolled asphalt comp on that roof, but it looked like Johnny, Rocket from down the street did it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was Uncle Buck. Yeah.
Man,
he'll save you $1. That's what he'll do.
That's bad. That's bad.
Oh yeah. There you go. That's the overview of the shot of that whole roof.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it was an investor buying this property.
Okay.
Because as you kind of look behind, all that land back there is all his too.
Okay.
See the property next door, multifamily units. It was all zoned
apartments.
It was all zoned for that type of living. So he was like, I'm ripping this thing down to the studs.
Okay.
I'm keeping one wall up, turning into a front office, and I'm just building apartments all in the back.
Yeah. Okay. So this was the kind of property you can do that with.
Exactly. That's why he was buying this property specifically. He's like, I have a plan here. It's zoned correctly. So this water damage, I mean, it was water damage on the property. It was great for this conversation, but it was all getting removed. It was all getting knocked down.
Well, but it's also important. The inspection's still very valuable because they need to know what they're going into, and you got to let your contractors and your crew be aware of what's going on so they can clean it up and not be exposed to something crazy.
Yeah, he was more concerned like how's the foundation, because it was a full crawl space too.
Okay,
or call it a dig out.
Yeah.
How was the foundation in one specific part of the property, so therefore he could, and there was rot all throughout there as well, and termite damage all throughout there.
Okay, so now you're helping him get a good deal on the buy.
Yeah, because now there's foundational structural issues. It's not just, we have mold in the house. And it's like, well, you're knocking it down anyway. We know what you're doing, so you're not going to negotiate that with me. Yeah. It was more so like, hey, the foundation has all that water running down those walls is rotting out.
So he's buying this property for land value at this point.
Exactly.
And it is a complete teardown. Interesting. Yep. All right, we got some infrared photos here, Blake.
Pretty obvious. There's, we got the
FLIR camera.
The FLIR, my little handy dandy FLIR always catches good stuff. 2-story properties. It's not a matter of if your plumbing from the second level is going to leak.
Eventually, someday, you're going to get some kind of moisture into the ceiling.
Yeah, it's a matter of when it's going to happen. Right. And so it's here we are. 2006 property out in Corona.
Mm-hmm.
Well, property is beautiful, staged beautifully, newly painted.
Okay.
There's repairs on the house. There's a lot of good, nice things about this property, overlooking the whole valley. I mean, gorgeous, right over the hillside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so detecting this type of stuff. So this one was to me appears to be like a drain line leak from the upstairs tub.
Okay.
Or valve, something from there. It wasn't like an active pressure leak where, as you see, it's not like a huge area. It's a small space. So,
right.
So I'll go upstairs and I will specifically run the water for about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then run the heat in the house, try to create a biggest differential of temperature I possibly can. And then I'll go back downstairs and I'll check out all the ceilings underneath the plumbing fixtures, check for any type of leaks.
Okay.
And go to the next photo. See if that's what it looks like. So
that's your ceiling.
That's it. To show me all that water damage, Dwayne. Show me all those. Show me all those stains.
You can't see anything. It looks just fine.
There's another inspector who was there before me. I was the second inspector on this property.
Okay. You didn't catch it.
Not a chance.
That's because he was not a Morrison Plus property inspection.
You better believe that, baby. Yeah. So, I went up there and the agent had told me, there's already been this property fell out of escrow. There's already an inspection report. I said, great, send me the inspection report. I want to take a look at it myself.
Right.
They sent it over to me. I scanned through it and I went back up to her and I said, hey, you guys no one talked to anything. No one, there's nothing in that report talking about this water leak. And she's like, no, it's not in the report. There's no water leak. And I go, come here, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Well, my moisture meter says something different and my thermal camera tells me something different.
Yeah.
Right underneath the master bathroom tub.
Right.
Do you have a tub in your bathroom? Seriously, do you have a tub in your bathroom?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you take tubs? You soak?
Yeah.
You really soak?
Yeah, I take baths. I have a jetted tub.
Nobody soaks.
I do. Hey, look, I ran 20 miles on Sunday, brother.
You like to soak.
Yeah. If you didn't think I wasn't in that tub on Sunday night.
Yeah, so many people don't use their master bathroom tub. They take showers.
Well, I mean, I do Ironmans. So, I mean, I need to get the blood circulating.
You're a
heal.
unicorn, Dwayne, man. You're top notch, man.
Well, I don't use it as much as I should, but getting your blood moving for recovery is important. But hey, on this one, did you have access to the slip joints? Did they have could you see under the tub at all?
I could not.
So it was all sealed up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a jetted tub, it was just a standard fiberglass. And so, doing my due diligence and in my experience, I talk to most people, I say, hey, you guys like your tub? They go, I don't take tubs. Like, I shower like I'm an adult. I'm not playing with my tugboat in the tub,
Yeah. So
So
that's what happens when you don't use the drains and you don't use stuff. The seals get hard.
they get rotted out. They get all dried out, and boom, here's our little.
But they
leaks.
all leak eventually, right? I mean, depending on how old they get, you have to maintain. That's why you should have an access opening to the slip joints for the tub drains.
In some capacity, yeah. But this is why I do this type of inspection.
Yep.
This is why I run that water and I run the thermal cameras, because I catch this maybe on 20% of properties. Easily active stuff going on. Oh, this is the next one out. Walnut. $2 million house. There should be no problems with this house. 2 million is like 1.8 million. No problems. I beg to differ.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, we inspect a lot of luxury homes worth millions of dollars, and those homes tend to be a little larger, so they're harder to maintain.
That's what I say. Bigger the house, more maintenance.
More maintenance. Yep.
Yeah, you're looking at 5 bathrooms.
A lot of times what we'll do is, or what we find is, we'll go inspect, a 5,000 or 6,000 square foot house, and there's just a couple living in there, or their kids have moved out. And they've
how many bathrooms are they using?
They got 4 bathrooms in there, and they're using 1.
Exactly.
And those other bathrooms tend to have clogged drains, or the valves leak, or and they just don't use it, so they don't care.
So there's actually a mirror. I don't know if you can tell or not. But there's actually a mirror on this wall as well, and so I'm getting. Anyway, right above that is the master bathroom.
Okay.
So go to the next photo. Go to the next photo.
Oh, you can't see.
I mean, we're close up here.
Yeah, you can't see anything.
You know what tipped me off? Look at the reflection in the mirror.
Okay, I see it.
Discoloration.
Yep, you can. You can see the stain there.
And you know when
that's
I saw
a trained eye right there, Blake.
You know when I saw it? I was down looking into the fireplace. The fireplace is right below those mirrors. That chimney runs right up. And I'm down there and I looked up just like, what? making sure that maybe the flashing. Oh, I'm always checking right around. You know, that's a susceptible place on a property is the flashing around a chimney. So I'm looking up and I'm like, do I see discoloration on the back from the reflection here? No, I don't. That's just old acoustic ceiling.
Yep. But look at there. You put that camera on.
Jackpot.
Yep. You earned your check that day. Wow.
Yeah, everyone was blown away. They walked in. I said, here you go. And they're like, yeah, good. I'm like, got water damage all there. Not just that. I mean, I put my finger to that ceiling and I had the paint running down my hand.
Really?
Like sopping wet.
That's crazy.
Sopping wet.
Crazy.
Yeah. Like,
you know, you can almost see like it looked like somebody stuck a hole in it there and patched it. Can you see that little spot there?
It might have been my finger that I put through this.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not sure. That was been after I poked
that
it.
kind of like spot right there. Put an arrow to that for everybody, Mackenzie, if you can see that.
Yeah, you can see it though, right?
You can see the little spot right there,
Just
man.
the change in texture.
This is why you don't want your brother-in-law doing your home inspection. You need a qualified, certified, licensed property inspector to come out with a trained eye. They can catch things like this, and they're professionals, and that's why you pay them a few $100s. Which is reasonable, because if you look at this infrared shot, I mean, it's going to cost, you know, you're probably talking about if there's mold in that ceiling, you could pay thousands of dollars for this repair, especially taking that mirror off the wall. I mean, it could be very extensive.
Yeah, what's behind that mirror? How much moisture has been trapped behind there, running down there?
No idea.
No clue. No clue.
Yep.
It could be, the plumber's going to come out here and cut the drywall and fix the drain line and patch it up, and that's a $600-800 job, or is it?
Yep.
Yeah, you don't know until that gets cut up and we find out more information.
Well, Blake, we really appreciate you coming in and sharing some of these photos today. It was a lot of fun. Water damage, mold.
Love catching it.
You know, roofs and fish tank pumps.
Fish tank pump, man. Don't put your fish tank pump in the cabinet.
Yep. If you enjoyed our comment, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, hit the notifications button. We hope to have Blake back on sometime soon, and have a good day.